Hello guys, first of all I welcome you all to this interview question series. So we are seeing some of the interview question related to Python, and we have already completed the 10 sets with it, and from last few sets we are just seeing some of the coding related questions which are most important. Clear? So we are continuing with that trend in this set as well. Okay, so let me just go ahead and just fetch first question for this session. So first question is, write the Python program to print the numbers in the range without using loops. Okay, without using loops, I wanted to print some number. So I already have that logic right now written here. So instead of just explaining those stuff, let me just write it for you guys. Okay, let me just write it for you guys. So clearing all those stuffs. Okay, clearing all those things again. Okay, so at first I am taking one user input here. So user input is equal to int, and I'm just employing the input function and prompt the user to enter some number. Okay, enter some number. Let me execute that code cell. So it will ask me for a number. Let me just take 5 for now. Okay, after that let's create one function which do the job. Okay, so we do the job. So name of the function is print nums. Okay, and it will take one parameters which is the number itself. After that I'm checking if the number is greater than 0 or not. If it is the case, I am just calling the existing function with decremented number. This approach is nothing but recursion. We are calling the same functions again and again, and after that I am just printing whatever the number I have. Clear? Whatever the number I have. So I have created the functions right now. Let me just execute the code cell. Okay, the function is ready. Let me just invoke the function directly, print nums, and I'm taking the user input. Okay, let me just execute. Okay, I'm getting the numbers 1 2 3 4 5. All those numbers are there, which is printed on the console without using any loop. Clear? Without using any loop. Let's just move forward with the other questions we have. So this is the second question we have for the day. Write a Python program to print the numbers in the range in descending order without using loops. So it's a variant of the first question only. Okay, it's a variant of the first question only, in which we have to print the numbers, but instead of printing 1 2 3 4 5 something like that in ascending order, we have to print in the reverse order. Okay, reverse order. So how can I do that? So it's a simple, same approach is there. So I'll just taking one user input here as well, int, and input in the functions I'm using here, and I'm just prompting the user enter some number. Okay, I'm prompting when the user to prompt some number here, and let me just execute this thing. Let me just take the 5, same number I'm taking here right now, and after that let me just create one function def print rev numbers. Okay, print rev numbers, and after that after doing those things, let me just take one number. Okay, let me just take number here and do same stuff. If number is greater than 0, okay, if the number is greater than 0, instead of invoking the original functions, let me just print the number directly. Let me just print the number which we have directly, and let me just invoke the function after that. Okay, invoke the function after that. So print rev nums and num minus 1 is that. Clear guys? So this is the stuff we have. Let me just create this function, and after that let me just invoke the function print rev nums, and I'm passing whatever the user input I have. Okay, let me just invoke these things. So I'm getting 5 4 3 2 1. Clear? 5 4 3 2 1. It's the same approach, but the order is different right now. And this is the same recursion approach we have. Clear? Let's move forward with the other questions we have. Write a Python program to check if the two numbers are amicable or not. Okay, it's a very interesting questions we have. First of all, it's a very simple questions, but you have an idea about what is amicable means. So amicable means if I am taking the numbers, okay, if I am taking the numbers which is less than the given number and which divides that number, in the simple words, if I am taking the number as 220, okay, and I am taking all those numbers which are less than 220 which divides that 220 as a number, which is called divisor. If I am taking the sum of these numbers, sum of the numbers, and it is equals to the other number, something like 284, then 220 and 284 are my amicable numbers. Clear? Amicable number. If you have that clear idea, then you can just use those idea and do those kind of stuff. Let me just directly go here, and again let me just take a input from the user. So right now I required the two numbers from the users, so a comma b, right? And let me employ the map function here, int input, and we have the two which is from the user, enter two numbers, okay, and then we can use the split, okay, then we can use the split. Let me just run the code cell here. So I'm taking two numbers 10 comma 20, right? 10 comma 20 is here. After that, let me just create the functions. Def is amicable and passing num1 comma num2, okay. I am passing num1 and num2 here, and let's just create the list of divisors here. So num1 divisors is there, okay. So number divisors is equals to, I am taking the list comprehension here for every I in range of 1 comma num1, okay. If num1 divided by I equals 0, if it divides that number, then it is divisor of that number, so that's why I'm taking this one as well. Same goes with the num2 as well. So let me just copy these things and put it here, okay. So num2 is here, and instead of num1 I'm taking num2, and here as well as num2 is here. Clear? So same stuff is here. I'm getting the divisor. Let me just check. Let me just take the condition. If sum of num1 underscore divs, right, equals num2, and sum of num2 underscore divs equals num1, if it is the case, then simply print this stuff: the numbers are amicable, right? The numbers are amicable. Else print numbers are not amicable. The numbers are not amicable, right? Numbers are not amicable. So let me just create those functions right now. Okay, the function is created, guys. Okay, let me just invoke the function is amicable, right? Is amicable. I am passing whatever the user input I have. Okay, let me just execute the stuff. Okay, numbers are not amicable. So 10 and 20s are not amicable. So let me just take what are the amicable numbers are. So amicable numbers are 220 and 284. Okay, 220, 224. Let me just again execute the code cell here. Numbers are amicable. Clear? So these are the things we have, and this is a simple code we have for the checking if numbers are amicable or not. Let's move towards the other questions we have. Write a Python program to check we can express any number in the power of 2 or not. Okay, so in the power of 2 means we can express any number in the power of 2 means that, let's take an example 4. Okay, so 4 can be expressed as multiplication of 2 times. So 2 into 2, 4. 8, if I just take the 2 and multiplied it 3 times, 2 into 2 into 2, then it is simply like 8 we have. So 2 cube is 8. 2 raised to 4 is 16. So the 8, 4, 16s, 32, those are the numbers can be represented as a power of 2. Okay, so we can employ one approach, a mathematical approach, where we can just check if the log of the certain number is integer or not, if it is then integer, which means that it can be express the number in the form of twos as well. So we can take the log of it. Log is nothing but simply at what power the number base number should be increased so that we can get the desired number, so we can employ those approach as well. Let me just import the math for that purpose. Okay, so math library is there, right? And let me again take the user input, which is equals to int, right? Int input, and I'm prompting the user to enter some number here. Okay, enter some number here. Let me just execute the code cell here. Let me just take the 32. Okay, 32 here. Let me just create one function. Quick function is here. Is power 2, right? If it is the power 2, let me just take one number as a parameter here, right? And I'm just simply returning is true my variable, right? Is true my variable. I'm just checking math dot log 2 of the number we have is integer, right? Is integer. If it is the case, then we will check if else condition. If is true, right? If it is true, then print something like this: whatever the number you have passed can be expressed in the form of 2's power. Okay, so 2's power, right? So this is the first we have, and we can just take another condition, else print some f string. Okay, so the whatever the numbers you have passed cannot be expressed in the form of 2's power, right? So these are the stuff we have right now. Let me just execute and create those functions. Okay, the function is created, guys. Okay, let me just invoke the function right away. Is power 2, and I'm passing whatever the user input I have right now. And let me just check 32 can be expressed in the power of 2's. Okay, clear? So we can just take another thing. Okay, so the final question we have for the session. Okay, so it's a very frequent question in the interview. Write the program to swap the two numbers. So there are two ways are there. Okay, and those can be any of the approaches can be asked in the interview. Clear? So I'll just take those two approaches. It's very simple. Okay, so we can swap the two numbers. Means what? If the number A is equal to 10 at the first place and B is the 20, we can just swap their positions or swap their values. So how can I do that? Let me just first take the two numbers from the users. A comma B is equals to map, and we can just take the int input. Okay, enter some number, enter two numbers. Okay, just prompting the user to enter the two numbers. Okay, and I'm just taking the split here so that I'm not getting any error. Okay, let me just take the two number, simple 10 20. Okay, so I have a two numbers right now. So let me just employ the first case. Okay, without using any variable. It's a simple one. So for the better understanding, I am just taking this stuff here. So before swapping, okay, just printing before swapping. Before swapping is there, and again I'll just print some statement over there. Print f string A is A, something respect to that f string. B is B, right? B is B, and again I'm just copying these things and put it here, and we can just take after swapping, and in between that I just perform some operations so that I can swap the number. So first approach is simple: A comma B is equals to B comma A. tuple, tuple packing and unpacking, tuple packing and unpacking concept is there. So that's why we can just swap these two numbers. Let me just execute this code right now. Okay, before swapping a is 10, b is 20. After swapping a is 20, b is 10. So this is the first approach we have. Okay, but what if they will ask you about some stuff, right? So we have not to employ this approach, so we have to use the another variable. Okay, so the approach is same but the logic is different. Okay, so the logic is different right now. Let me just take this one. Okay, and I'm again asking the users to enter some numbers. So this code cell is again the same. I'm just copying these things and let me ask user the number. Let me just take 100 and 200 here right now. Okay, and let me just change the logic here. Let me just take another temporary variable c is equals to a and just assign a is equals to b and b is equals to a. Clear? So b is equals to c. So this is the way we can just employ the approach of getting the swapping of the two numbers. Okay, let me just execute the code set. Okay, so here you can see that we will getting the swapping of the numbers. Clear guys? So that's all for this session guys. Okay, and I hope you are able to get those things. Just run those codes into your notebooks and get the much understanding of it. So we will wrap up this session for now. We will meet in the next sets with the more interview questions. Till then, have a nice day.